In this lecture, we are going to study about literals. So we will see what are literals in C++ and what they are used for. So talking about literals, let us see what we actually mean by literals. So values such as numbers, characters, or strings of characters whose values are self-evident are known as literals. So any values such as numbers or characters or strings of characters whose value, when we just see it, we know that yes, this is the value. That means self-evident values. They are known as literals. So for example, we have an integer 20. So we know that 20 just means 20. And then we have a character A. Now when you look at it, we know that it just means A. And then we have a string called hello. We just know that it means hello. So as simple as that. So we know that these values are self-evident, and that is why they have the name literals. Now why are we studying about this? Because there are different ways literals are represented in C++. So we will see them one by one. So first of all, we'll discuss about integer literals. So what are integer literals? We can write an integer literal using decimal, octal, or hexadecimal notations. So we already know what is an integer literal. It is a self-evident value which is an integer. Now the representation can be done using decimal, octal, or hexadecimal notation. So that is where we need to be careful, and that is where we need to see how it works. So let us talk about these three notations, starting with decimal. So decimal is a normal representation. So for example, we just wrote an integer 20, and we know that 20 just means 20 in decimal. So that is a normal representation that we usually use. Now the next one that we have is octal. Now if we use octal representation, integer literals that begin with 0 are interpreted as octal. So if you write an integer value that begin with 0, then that is going to be represented as an octal value. So you must already be knowing what are octal numbers, what are hexadecimal numbers, and what are decimal numbers. So these are things we study in number systems, and I'm not going to go to the details of that. So just remember that whenever we write an integer literal starting from 0, it is interpreted as octal. So we will see that in examples which will make it clearer. Now the next one we have is hexadecimal. Now integer literals that begin with either 0x or 0x, that means 0 followed by lowercase x or 0 followed by uppercase x, are interpreted as hexadecimal. So if you write an integer literal that begin with either this 0x or this 0x, then it will be represented or interpreted as a hexadecimal value. So let us take an example to understand this in a better way. So for example, let us write the value 25 using the three interpretations that we discussed. So we are going to represent 25 using decimal, octal, and hexadecimal notations in C++. So starting with decimal. So in decimal, it is simple. We just write it as 25 and we know it is 25. Now we need to represent it in octal and hexadecimal notations now. So how can we convert this decimal value 25 to octal and hexadecimal? So there are different ways of converting, but here I'm going to use a simple way. That is, I'm going to first convert this decimal value to its binary equivalent, and from there I'm going to convert it to octal and hexadecimal. So what is the binary equivalent of 25? The binary equivalent of 25 is 11001. So this is how the binary equivalent of 25 looks like. So this is again conversion of decimal to binary, which I'm not going to go to the details. I hope you know it. Okay, now in order to convert it to octal, what are we going to do? So in order to convert a binary number to an octal number, the easy way to do it is we have to divide the bits into groups of 3. And then we have to write the equivalent decimal value, and that will give us the octal value. So here our binary equivalent of 25 was 11001. So I want to divide it into group of 3 bits each. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are having only 5 bits, but I need 6 bits in order to divide it into equal 3 bits. So in order to make it 6, I can add an extra 0 on the left side, which will not change anything. So here I have added an extra 0 and then 11001. The same thing, 11001. Okay, now after adding this extra 0, I divide these bits into group of 3. So 1, 2, 3 and this 1, 2, 3. Now if I convert this 011 to decimal, it is equal to 3. And this 001 it is equal to 1. So 31 is the octal equivalent of the decimal 25. So in order to write it in C++ in our programs, what we have to do, we already said that if you want to represent it in octal, you have to add an extra 0 in the beginning. So you have to write it as 031. So this 031 will be treated as an octal value, and then the equivalent decimal value that should be printed is still 25. So we will write the program and see if it is working properly. But first of all, let us also discuss about the hexadecimal. So again, in order to convert the binary equivalent of 25 to the hexadecimal equivalent, we can take the binary value and we have to divide it into groups of 4 bits. Just like we did 3 bits here, we can divide it into groups of 4 bits, and then if you convert those 4 bits into decimal, then we will get the hexadecimal equivalent. So here we need the hexadecimal equivalent, and then our value is 11001. So I can divide it into 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4, starting from the rightmost. And here I have only 1. So in order to complete the bits, I am going to add extra zeros in the beginning like this. So I add 3 extra zeros here in order to make 4 bits here and 4 bits here. So if I convert these into decimal, you see 0001 will be equal to 1 and 1001 is equal to 9. So it is 19. So 19 is the hexadecimal equivalent of the decimal 25. Now in order to represent it or write it in C++, we need to write 0x in the beginning. So we said that anything that has 0x in the beginning will be treated as hexadecimal. So 0x19 will be equal to the decimal equivalent 25. So let us run this in a program and see if it is working properly. So here I have a program and I am declaring 3 integer variables n, m and o. So in n I assign the value 25, which is decimal 25, and then in m I write 031. So it should be treated as the octal number. So 031 was the octal equivalent of 25 that we just discussed in our slides. Then to O I am assigning 0x19, which is the hexadecimal equivalent of 25. And then here I am just trying to print n, m and o in new lines. So let us compile and run this program and see if we are going to get 25 for all the 3 variables. So here the name of our program is int_literals.cpp. So I'm going to compile it using G++. So if I press enter, you see it is compiled successfully. There are no errors. Now let's run the output file. So ./a.exe, and I press enter. Now you see for all n, m and o, the value 25 is printed. So we see here m was having the value 031, which is the octal equivalent of 25. So it took the octal equivalent and printed the decimal equivalent. And then O was having the value 0x19, which is the hexadecimal value of 25. And here we see 25 is printed. So here we see that these are the 3 ways in which we can represent integer literals. Alright, so I hope you have understood how integer literals can be denoted in different ways. Now let's go to the next one, that is floating point literals. Now talking about floating point literals include either a decimal point or an exponent specified using scientific notation. So we know that floating point literals will have floating point or decimal values. And then the decimal part or the exponential part can be specified using scientific notation. Now what is the scientific notation that we are talking about here? The exponent is indicated by either uppercase E or lowercase e. So the exponent value will be represented using this uppercase or lowercase e. So let's see some examples to understand this. So here for example, these are all floating point literals. So I have a value 3.14159. So this is a normal floating point literal. Now here I have 3.14159 and I write E2 here. Now what is the meaning of this E2? We said that exponent is indicated by E. Now E2 actually means this value into 10 to the power 2. So this actually means 314.159. So if you put 10 to the power 2 here, what actually means is that the decimal point is going to move 2 steps forward. So 314.159. Now similarly 3.14159 E3. Now what does this mean? Again, I already said that we can also represent it using the lowercase e. So this E3 means this value into 10 to the power 3. So 10 to the power 3 is there, which actually means 3141.59. So when we put 10 to the power 3 here, the decimal moves 3 steps forward and it comes over here. So that is why we get this value. Now again, here I have 3.14159 e minus 1. Now when I put minus 1, what is going to happen? It is meaning that this value into 10 to the power minus 1. So when we write 10 to the power minus 1, what happens? The decimal is going to go to the other side. So it will become 0.314159. So these are how floating point literals are represented. So let us try to run these also in a program and see if it is working properly. So here I have a program called float_literals.cpp, and here I am declaring float variables n, m, o and p, and then to n I assign 3.14159 and to m I assign 3.14159 e2, then o is equal to 3.14159 e3, and then p is equal to 3.14159 e minus 1. So let us see if the output is same like what we discussed in the example. So let me run this program. So g++ float_literals.cpp, I press enter. Now the program is compiled. There are no errors. Now let's run the program. So ./a.exe, and if I press enter, you see the values are exactly same like what we saw in the example. So the first one is the same, 3.14159. Then when we write E2, then it becomes 314.159. And when I write E3, it becomes 3141.59. And when I write E minus 1, it becomes 0.314159. So we see that it is working correctly. So with that, I hope you have understood how floating point literals are represented. Now let's come to the last one. Now coming to the last one, we have character and character string literals. So we have already discussed about integers and floating point literals. Now these are about characters now. Now talking about characters, a character enclosed within single quotes is a literal of the type char. Now if you enclose a character within single quotes, then it is treated as a literal of the type char, and it usually will hold just one character. Now 0 or more characters enclosed in double quotation marks is a string literal. Now if you are enclosing 0 or more characters within double quotes, then it is not treated as a type char, but it is a string literal. Okay, let's see some examples. So for example, here is a character literal which is A. So I have a single character A and it is enclosed within single quotes. So it just represents A. It is a character. It is of the type char. Now a string literal is enclosed within double quotes. So here we have more than one characters. So here I am writing fruit space salad. Now this is treated as a string literal. Okay, now we need to discuss a little more about the string literals. Now the type of a string literal is an array of constant characters. Now when we say string literals, it is nothing but it is an array of constant characters. Now the compiler appends a null character which looks like this to every string literal. So whenever you write a string literal, at the end, the compiler is going to append this, which is known as the null character, which marks the end of that string literal. So the actual size of a string literal is one more than its apparent size. So suppose you are writing a string literal, let's say hello, HELLO. So how many characters are there? Hello contains 5 characters, but actually the size is going to be one more than that. Why? Because at the end, the null character is also going to be appended. So for example, if I write A enclosed within single quotes, what did we say? Single quotes means it is going to be treated as a char type and it is a single character and it is equal to A. Now, if I enclose this same A within double quotes, then it is treated as a string literal. And when it is a string literal, the compiler is going to append this null character to it. So it is an array of 2 characters now, which contains A and the null character. So this is the difference between the simple character and the string literal, which is an array of constant characters which ends with the null character. So that is about the character and the character string literals. So with that, I hope you have understood the type of literals that we have, mainly the integer literals, the floating point literals, and the character string literals. So I hope this lecture about literals is clear to you. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.